Hi everyone, here's the Bookchemist once again, and today I'm reviewing Watchmen, which I think might be the first graphic novel I've read in my life, or at least in quite a few years. Now, I'm not entirely a stranger to comic books. When I was in high school, I used to read quite a lot of manga, mainly series for boys like Full Metal Alchemist, Bleach, Vinland Saga, that kind of stuff. I am a lifelong fan of the Peanuts comic strips, like really a fanatical fan. Did you know that it's like widely considered the longest story ever told by a single human being? Fascinating. Anyway, Watchmen. I have never read a graphic novel of this sort, and I have never been that much into American comic books. I've read some Iron Man. That's pretty much it. Even now, I mainly read Watchmen because it is widely referenced and intertextualized with in The Brief Wondrous Life of Oscar Wilde, which is one of the best books I've read in 2015. It's pretty much one of my favorite books of all times, really. And I wanted to get a bit more of all these references. I want to get a bit more of the world of that novel. And so I read Watchmen, and I have to confess something first, which is that I have often heard discussions about our graphic novels, our comic books, literature, should they be put on the same side? And as a scholar, as a student of literature, up till very recently, I think they weren't, because they are different media, because they work with different tools, narrative tools. But I also thought that was the case because comic books were in a way inferior. They hadn't yet reached the level of literature. That's, of course, bullshit. This book features a beautiful circular structure that really stands side by side with structures of books like Gravity's Rainbow or Infinite Jest or such postmodern masterpieces. And it features so many different narrative threads intertwined together so brilliantly. It alternates between different rhythms, different paces, beautifully. Each single chapter is a masterpiece, an artwork in itself. It's fucking beautiful. Of course, well, the drawings are really good, but I don't know shit about that, so what can you say? And the story is absolutely compelling. If anything, the fact that it's so compelling and so entertaining, it's only a plus to it. It's it only makes you realize how beautiful it is, that it can pack so much meaning, and I'm talking about stylistic meaning and about content, in such an entertaining and amazing mean, such an amazing form of art, form of narrative. And if I sound a bit overexcited and if I lost myself a bit there, it's probably because I just found out graphic novels and how cool they might be, and of course I'm very, very excited. So first things first, guys, do suggest me some good graphic novels. I've asked a friend of mine who's really a kind of graphic novel junkie. She suggested V for Vendetta, I think it's the English title. She suggested Mouse. Any other graphic novel that I should definitely read, do suggest them in the comments. As for Watchmen, the review might end here, and it will end rather shortly because really read the book. It's amazing, it's a masterpiece, it's great. It reflects beautifully on some very dreadful themes about the basic baseness of human nature, about the basic baseness of history, which always results in conflict and in terrible things happening to poor people. It reflects on the fact that poor people themselves sometimes are horrible person, that things are not as immediate as they are. There are quite a few controversial passages in the book. There's rape in this book, there's extreme violence, extreme gore. At the same time, it's not a book I wouldn't suggest to people who are sensible to these topics, because it handles them pretty interestingly and pretty in a delicate way, we might say, except for the blood. Sometimes you find rivers of blood for no reason. I guess it's because it's a comic book for boys. Anyway, the book intertextualizes beautifully with the poem Ozymandias by Percy Bysshe Shelley, with songs by Bob Dylan, by Elvis Costello, with both high and low art, which of course are stupid concepts, but you get my meaning. It's amazing. At the end of the day, once you've finished it, you are left with this kind of weird feeling, because the book has an ending, and it's a satisfying ending, in my opinion, but the themes in it, the discussion that the books begin about whether it's right to, I don't know, step up to defend poor people, even if in the process you become some kind of fascist asshole, these kinds of questions are not answered in the book, and they stay with you, and they make you think and they make you reconsider maybe some things or some other thing. It's amazing, really. It's a amazing reflection on the whole idea of superheroes, whether as a metaphor or as an actual thing we have in like real life, like first world countries intervening in order to protect the status quo, that kind of stuff. It's great. It's a great story, basically. At the end of the day, it's an amazing story about very complex, psychologically faceted and layered characters. It's an amazing story about the end of the world. It's an amazing story about friendship, about love, and about all the like odd and terrible things that can happen in life, and about the beautiful and majestic things that sometimes, at times, do happen. And it's great. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I know this wasn't really a review, but that's mainly because I know shit about comic books, and I couldn't tell you much technically about it, except that it's great. It's terrific, it's awesome. Are comics books literature? Do you think they are? Don't you? I do think they are not, because they stand on a different, like completely different branch of the narrative tree. I think they should deserve a specific category, just as much as films are not literature, really. At the same time, part of me realizes that maybe a novel like Watchmen has more in common with an actual novel than stuff like poetry or a play, and those are things that are usually ascribed to the realm of literature, so I don't have a strong opinion on this topic. Let me know what you think, guys. Suggest me more graphic novels. Let me know whatever passes through your mind in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching once again, guys. I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.